Hey everybody, this is Lauren Lee with the LaurenLeeGroup at eXp Realty, and I have as my guest today the wonderful Jay Kinder from eXp Realty. And Jay, thank you for coming today and chatting on my Facebook page.
Absolutely. Happy to do it.
Thank you. Well, I know you've got a great history of experience behind you. You at one point were Coldwell Banker's top, number 2
Number
agent.
two. Yeah,
Thank
number
you.
two.
That's great.
Never number one.
That's okay, you know?
Yep.
And then, of course, we met 4 years ago, I believe, at a mastermind in Cincinnati,
Yep.
and we connected in person, but we joined EXP right around the same time.
Yes, we did. We sure did. It's
That's
been a good
great.
4 years.
It has been a good 4 years. It's changed your life, hasn't it?
It absolutely has changed my life. There's no doubt about that.
You know, it's changed mine too.
Awesome. Awesome.
And I think that that's the cool thing about this company is that it really does change people's lives for the better. And you just have such a desire to want to reach out and share it with other people because it's made a lasting impact.
Right. No question. I think it was Michael Valdez that worked. He is the head of international for EXP, and he said he worked at Realty, which is all the brands that they own for international. And he said, I never once in all of my years there had anyone come up to me and say that this company changed my life. He said like that was one of the biggest things that stood out to him was that so many people are sharing how the company's changed in their life, and that's pretty awesome.
It is. And you hear stuff like that all the time, like, oh, this is so great, or that's so great. And you hope for it. And then, like 4 years ago, it was not out there really everywhere. Whereas now in my community, there's signs on every corner. We're gaining so much market share. But when I got into it, I literally followed the plan. I just followed instructions.
Right.
And as I followed the instructions, I achieved success. And I think that that's where I would love to start out is today is, how can EXP for the average agent allow you to double your business and really get that success? Like, how is it real for the average agent?
Right. Yeah. So I think there's a number of ways to probably answer that, but maybe the best way is to understand, like, if an agent's wanting to grow their business, I feel like generally the biggest challenge is they don't know how to get a customer, right? So, like, this, in simple terms, it's how do I get more customers is the real problem. And so, as a coach, from my history in coaching, the things that we helped agents with were, you would pay for us to coach you, and you might pay $1,500 a month for that, but we would be helping you with the exactly what to do part of the process. And so, like, you get to a point where you're stuck and you want to grow your business and you don't know what to do. A coach can sometimes help you unlock what steps you need to take to grow your business. That was great, but we oftentimes ran into folks that even if they could afford a coach, they couldn't afford all the tools and technology and lead generation things that needed to be done in order to generate leads. And so you might have to go buy a technology, for instance, that was $1,000 a month. And so now you've got $2,500 invested in trying to grow your business, and you would still have to spend money in actual lead generation, and then you'd have to figure out how to write an ad, or who, and all that kind of stuff. And it's a daunting task to try to figure out, especially as a newer agent or an agent who's never done anything in marketing before. And so what's unique about EXP is, number one, the KV core system that every agent is provided is the kind of the nucleus behind how to lead generate. It's an IDX feed. It connects to the MLS. But then there's these incentives that we all have to help other agents in the company. That number one, we all have stock in the company. So if agents do better, the company does better, then our stock goes up. That's one reason why I think there's more of an abundance mindset and people helping each other. But then there's the revenue share, which a lot of people don't really understand, but that's that means that we're financially aligned to your success. And so why would we not share everything we could to help you get your business up and going and solve any problems that you might have? Because we make a little bit off of what you pay in and towards your cap. And so the whole ecosystem and the business model, if you will, at EXP has aligned the right kind of people to help you with growing your business, and they provide you the tools that you need to do it too. And so all of that together creates a perfect storm. I think the harder way to answer this would be through understanding the collaboration, and the access you have to some of the top people in the world. I mean, our the number one agent, in EXP, and the number one agent and GCI and in transactions are both a part of the Honey Badger group. So, and I think also the number two agent as well, and maybe the number three. But we've got a lot of the top agents in the industry that are sharing and their best practices. That there's groups within workplace that you can join. That's where people are sharing exactly what they're doing, and how things are working for them. And so it just makes it a lot easier when you have people that you can lean in on that have had success in doing and helping, either being successful themselves, or even more importantly, helping other people become successful. So I think that's the unique thing about the business model, that is that, hey, there's, you actually have some help and some support and people that you can go to that are willing to help, because we're financially in alignment to do so.
Absolutely. Dovetail a little bit more on the Honey Badger group. So, let everybody know how we're connected,
Yeah.
and like all the cool things that we have that we can share with other people.
Yeah, I think it's important, and I think more and more now, as the company's continuing to grow, people understand, like, who's in your network matters, and who you're joining with matters. And so the Honey Badger Group, which obviously that's what we kind of started. So started the group when we joined. It was Michael Reese and Al Stasek and myself, and you obviously joined with us, and a ton of the top people in the industry have also joined with us. So that our track record in coaching was coaching some of the top people in the industry. So when we joined EXP, naturally a lot of the top people in the industry came along with us, and those folks also run in the same type of circles with other top agents. And so we kind of have a really big group of top people in the company. And so being able to leverage that. So, we created the group outside of workplace, because when we joined, there wasn't workplace. It didn't come till after that. And so we have this huge group of agents that are the top people in the industry. So like when you have a problem, you have a question, if you've ever been a part of a good Facebook group, it can be extremely valuable, because the quality of people answering the questions is what makes the group. So, so when you need something or you're looking for something, the group is a resource, and that, ultimately those are going to be relationships that you form with these folks that literally, I mean, some of the stories I like to tell is, like, as Andrew Gaydosh, when I first heard about his business, and this was when he was doing a couple hundred transactions a year, before we were coaching him even, but he had done like 90 something percent at some point. It was almost 90%, I want to say, of every home on the lake in one community. So he's got 90% market share of all lakefront property in this one community. It's like, that's amazing, right? Like, well, in the Honey Badger group, we interview Andrew, and he tells us his whole process, how he did it. And you can learn if you're trying to take over golf course communities or a lakefront community or whatever niche you might be going after. Like, everything that Andrew had shared with you that we did on the interview that's in the group, is valuable for you to go and do the same thing if you wanted to. And so I mean, another lady, Julie DeRoches, another one of my favorite stories. Like, I'd never heard numbers like this before, but she had done 300 transactions, and 285 of them were by referral. And I was like, how in the world did you do that? Like, but that interview's in the group, along with about 150 other interviews of top agents that are sharing like their one big thing that they did really well. And so it's when you're part of a group like that, normally you would have to pay a lot of money to be a part of that group. I know I always did, and we have built masterminds where we charged a lot of money. Now we don't charge anything. So it's just part of the business model at EXP. And so it's just a far departure from what people are used to being a part of. And and so if you're hungry, I think that's the main thing, is like, if you're truly trying to figure this real estate thing out and you really want to be successful, and you don't feel like you're getting the support, then you probably should have a conversation with you and at least get educated on what maybe you might be missing, or what you would get access to that you don't have access to currently.
Absolutely. And then some of those technology products are that KV Core, which is that super dynamic CRM. It's got a bunch of add-ons too. So you can do Facebook squeeze pages and Google pay-per-click. And I mean, there's a variety, the Make It Rain program. So, I mean, there's a lot of powerful kind of lead generators as well, that's built into that CRM, which is what I love. So when things come in, we have everything in that centralized location with those automatic drip campaigns.
Yep. Yep. Super valuable. Again, I think most agents kind of struggle with, what technology to buy, and it's always very expensive as well. And so the fact that that's being provided to the agent, which, I mean, in all honesty, I feel like that's something that should be provided to any agent anyways at every company. If you're not,
Mhm.
if you're not given the tools to be successful, it's very difficult to figure out how to be successful in real estate. So yeah, that's phenomenal. A phenomenal tool, and very versatile, can do a whole lot of things. And then, the other thing that, that we provide too is all the training that we created through the National Association of Expert Advisors, which, it's critically important in my opinion. Like, you either have a value proposition or you don't. You either have, when somebody asks you, how much you charge for your commission, you either have a good answer for that, or
Mhm.
you struggle to answer that, and people want you to lower your commission. And so, all of those things are things that, we built and provide to the group that joins with us, and you don't have to go pay a whole lot of money to earn those designations through us and all that kind of stuff. And so, all of that is necessary to be successful. It's just, I think most people just don't know what they don't know, and
Mhm.
the more that they get curious and kind of open up the gate of the mind, so to speak, they realize, wow, this is completely different than what I could have really ever thought. And yeah, it's fun because, for us, it's fun because we just get to add value to people's lives, and that's what we do on a daily basis. And so, that's, for me, that's rewarding.
Honestly, I thought about that. And given your success with the company, I love to share with people that, part of your day is just pouring into us. I know that
Right.
sounds crazy, but like, you spend your day just pouring into us.
Right.
And I think that that's what the coolest thing about this win-win concept with EXP is. It just is a win-win. I mean, you've achieved so much success, so you just want to give that back to everybody else. I open my email in the morning and I see NAEA content coming in,
Right.
opening it up, new content coming in, all the boot camps that you guys offer. So I feel like with EXP, we have 80 to 100, hours of training in the world,
Right. Like every week.
yeah,
Every week.
every week. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's so much training that if you're out there just really doing business, it's hard to take advantage of it all.
Yeah, yeah. But if you're struggling, I mean, you don't have an
True.
excuse to not, to not be successful, because there's so much being provided.
And I think that that's really the bottom line. The agent themselves, you got to want it. You got to get yourself organized, and it's there for the taking. And that's where I kind of go back to just me feeling like I'm a poster child a little bit too of moving forward with the model. Was, I was a single agent and I went out there and, practically doubled my business, been icon agent, taken advantage of just all of the training, the growth, and executing on it, and just sharing it with other people.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
it's
Love that.
it's there for anybody. You don't have to be on a team. You can be a new agent. I think they can get everybody started.
Right. And how has it been for you? How has the stock been for you?
Crazy great.
So yeah. So without getting into the stock and all that kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
it's just something. It's an award that you get that you don't get anywhere else, right? And so, like, why wouldn't you, if you're gonna pay anything into the
I got
company?
one. Here,
There you go.
here's just one of my several.
Right. Yep.
But
I bet. Those
yeah,
are
I have them over here. But now that we were talking about it, it's really the award that gives back. I love that I'm honored by my community, and my board. But for me, this honor has a lot of meat to it, and it's the one I'm actually most proud of.
I love it. Love it.
I am. So what do you think? Tell me about the company. What's the future? Tell me a little bit. If
Yeah.
you had to say, what the next steps for EXP are. Tell me about the
Yeah.
vision you
So
got.
yeah, well, the growth is insane. It's crazy. When we joined and you joined not long right after I did, there was I think it was 5,000 agents or 4,000 something agents
Yeah.
whenever we joined. And so, now it's almost 70,000. I think we might have just hit 70,000, real close to it. But, that's a ton. It's a ton of agents that have joined. And it's every day I'm still having conversations with people that are just now making the move over. So, we're still just getting started. International is incredible. I think we're in 18 countries now, and seems like we open 3 countries every quarter. So, huge opportunity there. And then, looks to, we're still, we're 250,000 agents in the US, and Canada is definitely where we're headed. And so, the next few years are going to be a lot of fun as we continue to grow, and then international as well. So like, it's just, it's insane what we're doing. And the thing I love is, Glenn Sanford is he's a really brilliant guy, obviously, but he cares about the agents. Like the filter he runs everything through is this going to help my agents? Is this going to help the agent? And when you look at, on the heels of Zillow throwing in the towel with the iBuyer program,
Yes.
it just is more evidence that the real estate agent is not going to be disrupted. If you look at, you follow the money, the companies like HomeLight and some of these others they're agent centric. Even though they're trying to get a referral fee from us, they're not trying to replace the agent. They're still there's still people still understand that there's a lot of money in the real estate transaction, but the real estate agent is still the conduit to the transaction. And so you can't just replace us with an iBuyer program very easily and make money. And you can't, Zillow sells the leads for a whole lot of money, but they built a call center trying to have more control over that. I think they were thinking becoming a brokerage, but they realized that, the quality of the agent is the real difference maker. Leads are leads. I mean, people that go to Zillow or go to Realtor.com or click on a Facebook ad for whatever reason, the quality of that is going to be based upon the quality of the agent, and that's going to be based upon the agent's ability to be trained and learned. And I think EXP has done a better job than any company at creating an environment where you can learn. So yeah, there's nothing but a bright future for EXP. And if there's one thing that I see happening is it's just going to be continued domination and growth, because if you were betting against EXP, you'd be betting against everyone in EXP. And that I just know that there's too many top agents in this company that you would not want to bet against if you were trying to compete with us. And so even if another company came along and tried to be just like us, they don't have the same group of people that are the leaders in this company that are helping other agents with their business. So be very difficult to compete with us. I see us continuing to grow.
Momentum is definitely in our court.
Right.
What I love are the surprises that we get to on those quarterly reports when we now get a little cash dividend.
Yeah. Yep.
And I love our financials that were just fiscally, strong.
Man, yeah. That was in the beginning. Like you mentioned, Lauren. People were like, "What's EXP?" Or they would look in the MLS. I remember we had a conversation one time about somebody's, it was like, I looked in the MLS and there's no agents that have sold anything, right, or whatever. And so, that's totally different now, right? Like we have all the top agents from all around the country. But in the beginning, there was people didn't know what EXP was. It was an over the counter. It was a pink sheet, stock. Now we're on NASDAQ. Like all of the things that were objections before now are the strengths that we have too. So it's pretty cool to see how far we've come.
Well, it just takes me back to that moment when we initially talked, and honestly, I just couldn't sleep at night. I got I feel like a little bit of a business mind. And even though it was kind of just getting started, like you said, it wasn't like the name recognition that it has today. And I just thought the model was super solid. I was like, what won't work with this? And it was true. And I joke with people, well, it just keeps getting better,
Right.
Well, they did the stock split, then they got the cash dividend. I mean, I just feel like it's just really kind of getting better and better and better.
Yeah, when you look at, first of all, it's amazing that, Glenn bootstrapped this company. So, and for those who don't know, like raising money to grow a company is one thing, but you take on investors and you lose some of your control and some of that. And, Glenn was able to do this, build it from scratch. And, he went public not to raise money, which is why a lot of companies go public, is he took the company public to create ownership for agents. And so, we're sitting on a ton of cash, and we're continuing to, have enough profit that we're paying out quarterly dividends back to the agents that own stock. And so, yeah, I mean, it's insane, what this has turned into. It's just been an incredible journey.
It has. And I don't know if people realize that when you join EXP, on your first transaction, you become a stockholder.
Right. Yep.
If you're doing this, you own the company. You're part of the company.
That's right. Yep.
So it's just great. I think that's just a huge piece of it. course, we haven't even really talked about revenue share.
Right.
But I think that you can speak highly on that piece after doing
Yeah,
that for 40
I'll
years.
touch on that. I always, I think everybody needs to understand it because it's potentially life changing. And so the reason that I think most people would get confused with they say, well, it's all about recruiting. Well, every company is all about recruiting in real estate, and so the difference is that opportunity isn't passed along to you in any other company. So if you look at all the other real estate models, they're all recruiting machines. That there is someone whose job is to recruit, and generally there's a region. Somebody owns a region, and somebody owns a franchise, and those people bought opportunities to recruit agents to that business model. In EXP, because we're a global company with nobody owns a territory or a region. It's also the reason we don't have to pay 6% royalty fees that never end as well. But we don't have any of those royalty fees. So we have a $16,000 cap. That's it. And once you're done with that, you're at 100%. And so the royalty fees go on forever. A lot of people don't do the math on what that adds up to be, but a lot of times that's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that you're paying into to that particular brand. But when you do away with the mechanism of someone buying a region to someone buying a franchise, you also lose your growth mechanism. And so what Glenn did was he said, well, the agents are the ones that know other agents, and so why don't we allow them to them bring their friends over to EXP, and then they can make a little bit off of what they pay in towards their cap and off the top. So it's revenue share, not profit share. It's off the top, and so that's a really, really big deal. And he went on to say that he was going to make that opportunity so big that the right people would would join the company and help us build it. And he made an opportunity that's so big that people like us have all decided to align ourselves with this company as opposed to doing what we were doing before. And so certainly some big numbers that can be made in that arena. Numbers that if I shared, nobody would probably believe me, but it's I can tell you it's a nice thing to have. Even if you don't plan on telling anybody ever about EXP, like if you're in real estate, you've had a client, who's somebody that got their real estate license, you've told somebody to join the company you're at because you loved it. So why not get compensated for it? That's what it really boils down to. And if you do that enough, it can turn into something pretty special.
It can. And it has for us. And I'm just really grateful. I think I go back to just that gratitude that I was able to connect with the company at an early stage. And I'm grateful for you, Jay, honestly, because I look at everything that you've done for the Honey Badger Group and just all the giving back daily on the growth of people. And, if if we have a question, we can call you up, we can have a conversation.
Right.
And you can really contribute. And you've done it. So I just want to thank you because you've changed my life too. So
I appreciate you very much. Yeah. It's we're blessed, and I think that's the gratitude is the way I wake up every day feeling, for being a part of this and getting to make an impact on people's lives. Cause that's truly what we're doing here is helping people build better businesses and creating, potential exit strategy for the future, a way for you to, step out of production at some point if you want to. Like, there's really no problem that we can't help you solve. And so it's a blessing to be a part of it.
Well, I agree. And I want to thank you again for today, Jay. You've spent a lovely amount of time with me, and I really appreciate it. If anybody out there is wanting to reach me, they can go to LaurenLeeGroup.com. And I've got some additional videos and some more information on EXP. So I'd love to have you back again and talk some more EXP.
You got it.
If you're interested.
Absolutely. I would absolutely anytime. Always a pleasure to talk to you, Lauren. And definitely I recommend reaching out, having a conversation. It costs you nothing. You have nothing to lose by having a conversation. So absolutely. Highly recommend it.
Well, I wish you a happy Thanksgiving coming up here with your family. Yep. And I'm sure we'll be connecting again soon.
You got it.
All right. Thanks, Jay. You have a great day.
Take care, Lauren.
Take care.